Time again for another electric bike. This one from a company, Engwe, and this is their flagship, and it is a folding bike, which we didn't think we'd get back into, but we wanted to try this one out because it's the only folding bike that we could find that has full suspension.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. Relatively quick and easy to unbox. Packaging was pretty standard for most of these bikes that we've received over the years, and that's the first thing I want to mention is full disclosure, this was sent to us at no charge for us to review. I'll let you know what we thought. Most of these electric bikes are doing pretty good jobs moving us around, even us big people, and I don't think that this one's going to be any different. Of course, the shortages that they've been experiencing across the industry has been kind of rough for a lot of these companies. And this one I had to wait a little while to get. However, definitely happy to have received it and going to be able to try it out and see what we think. Right off the bat, taking it out of the box, a couple of things that stand out to me. The mag wheels look really nice. I think those look really cool. These are a 4-inch tire, so it's bigger than the electric. You know, the original electrics, they had 4-inch, and then they went to 3-inch. I don't have a preference one way or the other. Of course, the wider, the better it is for beach riding or sand riding, which we have done that. This one, of course, again, it folds in the middle. And the best part about this by far is not only does it have a suspension on the front, but it does have a suspension for the rear. This is a swing arm type suspension. So we're going to put this together, see what kind of ride height it is, and see what kind of speeds we can get it at. This one I can tell you, just looking at it, we are into the assembly a little bit more than we were on some of the other brands, but it's not horrible. I've already watched videos on YouTube of people that have changed out the handlebars to something that's a little bit wider and a little bit lower. We could potentially do that also. We'll have to see, but we want to check it out in its configuration that we get it in and see what kind of features it has. But more importantly, is it feasible for us as RVers to ride around on these things? You know, those electric bikes were awful nice, but they did lack a little bit in comfort, and we had to spend another $60 on our seats just so they were comfortable. This one here with the rear suspension may allow us to use the seat that comes with it. As far as pricing on this, check the link in the description. That'll get you to their site, and you can decide at that point if the current price is something that you're willing to try. But I'm impressed with the way it looks. I do like the colors and everything, but we need to get this together, so we'll come back whenever this is all finished. So here she comes back from her maiden voyage. So what did you think about it?
A pretty good pickup.
Yeah, it's not a slouch. How about that rear suspension? Can you tell?
Yeah.
I mean, it is soft. Yeah. It is definitely soft.
The
so
handlebars were a little short.
Yeah, even for Heidi, they're not very wide.
Yeah, I should say wide.
But the
it's comfortable.
Overall feel of this compared to the electric XP 2.0, this is definitely a better ride. This has hydraulic brakes, instead of cable brakes. Big difference. You can definitely notice how smooth that is. The other thing is it does have an automatic headlight if you want to set it up for that. I took it off of that. And this does have a brake light. When you pull the levers, there's actually a brake light that comes on. The other thing that is by far superior is this display. It's much easier to navigate. Yeah, I'm much more impressed with this compared to the electric bikes. But overall, this is a little bit bigger. As far as folding it up, it's a little bit bigger. As far as it unfolded, it's a little bit bigger. It's slightly heavier.
Is the seat all the way down?
The seat's all the way down.
Oh. Not for short people.
Well, it's better than what the Magicycle was.
Yeah.
So Heidi
You can
can
touch
ride
the
it.
ground.
Yeah, she can touch the ground.
Tiptoe, but
Again, the fenders, they're metal. The tires are definitely bigger. You can feel it when you're riding. I like the rack on the back. It's a pretty decent bike. It's not bad.
it's longer.
It is longer. Yeah, so you get a little bit better ride based on the fact that it's a little bit longer. Yeah, I was impressed. You can adjust through the, again, all this is really easy to do on here compared to the electric bike. You can change your pedal assist percentages. So like on pedal assist 5, you're getting 100% of what's available. This does have regen in the back, on the back wheel. So it's not a free wheel. When you let go, it starts to regen. I don't know how much we'll use that necessarily, but it's got a real little horn instead of a bell, which it's not overly loud. The shifter worked real well. I was comfortable with that.
I
And
haven't used the throttle yet.
yeah, that's all I did was use the throttle
Oh, no.
for the most part.
I just pedaled.
Yeah, I pedaled a little bit. But the suspension is real smooth. It's a smooth ride considering this is a folding bike. So what we'll do is we'll put this down in the folding position. You can see we're not a big fan of folding bikes for the folding aspect of things because quite honestly, it's kind of like, okay, it's no longer real long, but now it's real wide and kind of long
Yeah.
and pretty much just as tall. I mean, you do get to fold down the handlebars and that takes away from some height. And if you have a truck and you're just wanting to put it in the bed of your truck, and you have a cap, that's nice that you can put down the handlebars. You don't have to worry about it, hitting the cap, which we had to worry about with our rad power bikes. But as far as being compact, I don't really consider any of these compact when you fold them. I mean, they're quite honestly, it's best just to leave them open and ride them. By the way, this is something that the other ones didn't have, the electrics, and that's a USB. You got a little USB port here. I wanted to point that out. Again, the display, because it's so bright out. I mean, you can see it when you're riding, but
Or we can bring it in the garage.
Yeah,
so we can
let's
see
go
it
ahead
a
and-
little better.
roll it in here for you guys.
Yes, it is nice that it has a gray back so I can see it better.
Now, the reason that it's dim right now is because the headlight's on. So let's go ahead and turn off the headlight. You see it brightens up quite a bit. But the speeds or the assist, real easy to do. You don't have to dig through here. The other thing that I like is the modes. You can see I got eco mode. You got normal mode. And of course we were just on sport mode. So that'll keep your battery going a little bit longer there. As far as getting into a lot of the settings, I mean, it's not very difficult and they're easy to read. Just pushing the plus and minus a couple times. They tell you what you want to do. There's your brightness, your auto power off, how long you want it to go. I think in this case we have 10 minutes. Your speed limit in case you're in a situation where you have to have a class 2 bike that can only go so fast. Of course, the brightness, I have it set up all the way right now. We'll go ahead and go back, see some of the other features that are on here. This is for the cruise. I have it off. Again, automatic headlight. Your power settings, again, you can set each percentage up for each pedal assist. So if you are going to start off in 1 or 2 a lot and pedal assist 1 or 2, you can make it where it starts you off kind of slow. But if you get it on, like in this case, pedal assist 5, yeah, it's going to fly. But you can change those. You can change all those settings. Yeah, very, very nice how easy it is to manipulate that. A lot of the other ones you have to go into some kind of sub menu and there's a bunch of P settings that you have to decipher, where this one's pretty straightforward. So Heidi, how tall are you?
5'4".
5'4". Okay, so we'll show you what it looks like for her just standing up next close to the bike. You can see the handlebars, how high they are. And they are down all the way. And the seat is down all the way. So not much you can do there. For me, it's fine. But I think that's the trade-off for this full suspension. So now we'll go ahead and fold this thing up and show you what it looks like. All right, so one thing we found that's definitely not correct on this is the geometry of the kickstand. Now, that kickstand that they have down at the bottom here is a protector. It protects the this front sprocket whenever you have it folded. But I'll have to say that the electric bike, being smaller and have smaller tires and everything, you could fold it like this and you could just leave it stand. It would stand on its own. Where you can see Heidi's holding this one, and if she don't, you see what happens here. It just kind of falls over. There's nothing that keeps it. And again, compact is a relative term. I mean, it's still awful wide here whenever it's folded. But again, this is something that's a thing with a lot of these folding bikes. Everybody gets them and thinks, oh, no big deal. I'll be able to throw them, in a couple of them in the back of the truck and they'll hardly take up any space. Not really. I mean, that's still pretty wide. That's wider than, it would have to go into a tote, and our tote that we used was a 40-gallon tote. And it just barely fit. So compact, but it will get you by. I mean, I could see this being something that would, push comes to shove. You have to, again, throw it in the back of a car or something. This is far easier to load up than a full-size bicycle. So what kind of buyer is going to get this? Well, someone kind of like us. We're looking for something that has a smoother ride, but is potentially compact if necessary. We could put this in the pass-through of our RV. However, it would take up so much space. It's just not worth it. I'd rather just put it on a bike rack. And again, if you're going to have a bike rack, why have a folding bike at all? But compared to the electric XP, this one's definitely better. Now, electric just came out with a new one that has a mid-drive. I bet you these compete pretty well head-to-head, all except one thing still. This is one of the only folding bikes that have a rear suspension, and it makes it much nicer whenever you get to your destination and you unfold it and set it out. It makes it a much nicer piece of equipment to ride. I have no intention of buying a different seat for this one. Whereas when we rode those electric bikes, two things that stood out right away. They were quick and agile. They were inexpensive at the time. I think they were under $1,000. But they also jarred our fillings loose in our teeth as soon as we got off a little bit of a path of a road, like through the campground that we're currently at. The other thing is the brakes used to squeal and howl and make all kinds of noise and weren't the best, whereas these are hydraulics, and you can definitely tell that you're getting a good application of pressure down there that makes it a little bit nicer whenever you're coming to a halt. This one's more expensive. Again, the link will be down in the description. If this is something that you're thinking about, if you want to start looking into getting into electric bikes, I think the look of this one is better than electric XP, and the ride is definitely better with that rear suspension. So again, hopefully this helped out on some level. If you have any questions, just shoot them our way. We'll try to answer it, or we'll direct you to the manufacturer. And the company's been out for a while, so you don't have to worry about, something being a little shady with them or anything like that. It's a good company to deal with. We talked with them some time ago, starting back in January, and they do have another full-size bike that's on Kickstarter or Indiegogo right now. So look forward to that. That's going to be a nice bike for somebody that's looking for a full-size bike. It's got a lot of nice features. This one does have a pretty powerful motor. This motor is more powerful than the electric XP motor, and the battery is a fair size, which I'll put the specs here. So you'll be able to get down the road at a pretty good clip and be able to experience quite a few miles before you have to worry about plugging it back in again. And of course the battery is contained, so it's all protected in there, so that's kind of nice also. I think it looks a lot nicer whenever they hide the batteries away. And it's just a single key down below that locks it in and takes it out. So again, links are down below, and as always guys, we hope to see you out here. Bye.